Hello, I'm Ben,
Hi, I'm Alex.
and today we are going to start our top 50 games of all time for 2021.
Yay!
We did an unofficial list back in April, but we didn't post it, and so I figured we would redo it since we played some more games. And sorry,
He's a bit of
he's a squirmer.
He's a bit of a grumps.
Yep, old man. So these are our top 50 games of all time for 2021, and we'll probably do another one next year, earlier on in the year. So, would you like to start?
Yes.
All right. I'll let Alex kick it off with her number 50.
My number 50 for this list is Arboretum. It is a pretty fun deck game where you own an arboretum, and basically you get to choose the different species that you're going to put in your arboretum to attract your customers that you think your customers would want to come see. And you get basically you get to decide which species you put in there and how you're going to place the species. And it's pretty cool because you get to you have to put their numbers on the cards and on the different species, so you have to put everything in ascending order. Like you can put 1, 2, 3, but if you put a 7 after the 3, you can't go back and put a 5 because the 7's already down there. So you gotta keep it going. And I think the last number within the species is like an 8. So
1 through 8 or something.
Yeah, so like the cards are numbered like 1 through 8. The different species are numbered 1 through 8. So if you end it with like if you start it with a 1 and then end it with an 8, you get points. You get bonus points for that. And if the first and last cards within that species are the same species and they start with a 1 through 1 and end with an 8, then you get extra bonus points. So that's pretty cool. It's a little tricky, the point system. It's a little tricky because also you got to keep track of how many cards you have in your hands of that species.
So hand management as well.
Because you have to be able to have cards on the mat, on the board, to get the points. But also, if you don't have a certain number, the most number of that species in your hand, you don't get those points. And so somebody else, your opponent, can take those cards, and that way you can steal your chance to win points for that. So although they might not be getting the points, they can hinder you from getting the points. It's a pretty cool strategical game, and I like it a lot. So
okay. So that's the first printing, I think, with the Z-Man game. So there is also the prettier version from Renegade Games that has the Beth Soul art, but that's just the version that we have.
Yeah, I like the artwork on the cards better, but it's really
there's better looking cards now.
Yeah, but it's a pretty fun game. Minus the artwork, if you take the artwork aspect out of it, it's a really fun game.
So it's a Arboretum, and that was new to your list this year, wasn't it?
It was one of the newer games that I played this year, and it was pretty cool. And usually when I first play games, they don't go on my list right away, so it's pretty cool that one was able to go on there.
My number 50 is a game you haven't played yet.
Yeah, that I want to play.
Your eyes just lit up.
Because I love Disney, guys. I'm addicted to it.
Yeah, you have this game.
I do. I just haven't been able to play it. The people that I want to play it with never really want to play it with me.
Well, sounds like you have the wrong friends then. Just saying. Anyway, this is my squeaker pick. Just squeaked on my list. Last time it was also number 50, so I don't know how that happens, but it's usually, when it's 50, it usually just slides off the list after you play a new game. But this one stayed here, and I'm pretty sure it'll
probably move up the more, because I'll probably, when I play it, I'll probably
make
him.
Yeah.
I'll probably make him play it.
Yeah. So you're basically playing as the Disney villain, and you're trying to achieve the goal as in like the movie, and then your opponents play hero cards to try and stop you. So it's kind of like it's like the reverse of the norm where you're playing the hero and trying to
and getting
to stop
stopped by
the villain's plan.
Yeah.
This is the exact opposite of that, but it's a different take on the Disney movies.
Yeah.
So so that's
it's from basically the villain's side, and basically if the goal were for the villain to win instead of the hero.
Yeah. So that's always so you're basically remaking the movie almost in a different way, which is
fun.
Yeah.
And I love Disney. For someone who loves Disney, I'm actually very surprised I haven't played it yet, but
there's different expansions for it, and there's also a Marvel version as well. So
if you're into Marvel, I'd suggest getting that one too. I mean, I highly recommend getting this one too, but if you're into Marvel, you could start with that one.
So, this be on your list next year?
Most likely, yes.
All right. So that is my number 50. My squeaker pick is Villainous. 49.
My 49th pick, my number 49 for this list is Machikoro. It's a beautiful, beautiful city building game. You get to build your city, and you get to choose different buildings within the city to place, and you get points for those. So depending on the building or the shop that you put down, that's the amount of points that you get. So you can build like a cafe, you can build a wheat field, you can build a bakery, just different buildings that you would normally see, like, you know, in your city when you drive around or walk around. So it's pretty cool. It's the 5th anniversary. This is the 5th anniversary edition. I like the artwork, and it's pretty cool. You can
just has the plastic coins. That's basically the difference.
That's the only difference.
Instead of the cardboard punch out coins, it comes with the plastic coins,
which are slightly more convenient because you don't really have to punch anything out. But I mean, it depends.
Nicer quality.
Yeah, but it's a pretty fun game. I enjoy it a lot. I think it's really, really pretty too. So it's visually appealing. Aesthetically appealing, as you would say, and it's pretty fun to play. It's a short game too. It's like about a 30-minute game.
Yeah, it's an acquired taste for sure, but I think it's a good family game. If you're a family that likes to play Monopoly, I would just get this instead. Play that. It's less punishing, and it plays in half an hour instead of like 2 hours, and less arguing and fighting.
Less competitive. I mean, with any game, I feel like there's still that competitive
but it's
aspect in it. But I mean, it's not as competitive. It's pretty chill. It's super fun, and I feel like it might be easier to learn than Monopoly.
Yeah, I find myself less frustrated playing this game versus Monopoly, where where you're going around the board and rolling and really just praying that you don't get this specific number.
Right.
You have that same aspect in this, but it's less punishing, and you're not having to give up your entire
half
pool
your
of
bank
money,
to accommodate that person.
Yeah.
So it's pretty fun. I like it.
It gets all the same, fills all the same niches as Monopoly does, and a shorter time period with a better gameplay mechanics.
Yeah.
So that's Machikoro. That was your
49th pick.
Yeah, it was number 22 last time, so it dropped quite a bit for you.
I haven't most of these a lot of these older games that I've had on my list before, they've dropped because since then we've played a lot more newer games that have gone up on my that have gone on my list.
Yeah.
So
it's all right. 49 is a new game. Mine here. 49 is a new game, and that is The Networks. So it's an indie game by Formal Ferret Games, where it's 1 to 5 players. I play it solo myself, but you are running a television network, and you are getting advertisements, getting money from advertisements, and you're acquiring stars so you can purchase shows and run those shows in specific time slots, and you get bonuses based on what stars you have working on that are on that show, and what ads you get. You get bonus money, and you have to decide, each season, they're played in rounds, which are seasons, and you have to decide which shows you want to cancel and which shows you want to keep going for another season. And some shows will do better in some seasons, and some tank after the first season, or tank after the second season, and some of them do better as seasons progress. And you have to decide which ones you want to keep and which ones you want to get rid of in place of a brand new show. So that's interesting concept.
I haven't played this game yet, but it sounds very interesting, and so I'm definitely excited to play it. So I'm hoping this might go on my list as games to play before the year is over.
And it takes like 60, 90 minutes, so it's not a super long game.
But it is one of the longer ones.
So that is the Networks.
My 48th pick for this list is Ganz Schon Clever, or That's Pretty Clever. It is basically another version of Yahtzee. It plays like Yahtzee pretty much, it's pretty simple. I feel like it's pretty simple to learn, pretty easy to learn. The gameplay is not that long. It's 30 minutes at most, so it's a pretty short game. And you can play you can play it solo, or you could play it up to 4 players. Whereas with Yahtzee, you can't really play it solo unless I think you get the app. Yeah. But with this game, you can play it by yourself solo, so you can get better at it, or you can play it with 2 or more. So
infinitely a better game.
Yeah, definitely. I like it.
Once you play this, I don't see how you can.
And I like the point system that it has to it,
because there are different
versions. There are different ways that you can get points and win. Whereas I think with Yahtzee, there's only like one way.
Yeah, you can get points for anything. Yeah. Where Yahtzee, you're basically trying just to roll 5 of a kind. So if you don't roll what you want to roll, then you're basically just out points.
Right. But it is pretty fun. I did enjoy it. So I did enjoy this game a lot. The only funny thing is when we played it, I kept screaming Yahtzee in the middle of the game at random times.
Yeah.
So that's the only difference. But whenever I got a roll that I really, really liked, I would scream Yahtzee, and he would look at me like I was crazy. So
I mean, they're similar games, except for that one's really that much better game. It's Wolfgang Warsch, which is the designer of one of your favorite games.
Yeah, and I prefer this game more than I prefer Yahtzee. So if you're not a huge fan of Yahtzee, but you like the style of it, then you can definitely play this one. This one I highly suggest.
And if you do like Yahtzee, get rid of Yahtzee and get that game. Just saying. That is...
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, that new to your list this year.
Yeah, it's one of the newer ones that I played. Yeah. As well as Arboretum.
Yeah. So my 48 is a cooperative game, and that it's been around for quite a bit, almost 10 years now, and that is Pandemic. So you play as specialist scientists of the sort, going from city to city, researching, collecting cards in a sense, to eradicate 4 diseases from the world before they wipe out the population. So you're trying to manage epidemics and working together to keep pandemic populations down. So
that one, I'm definitely interested in playing this one. I know with everything going on, this one probably might hit a little bit closer to home.
Yeah,
with some people,
with the current pandemic actually happening in the world.
Right. But, I mean, it depends on if you want to play it and where your mindset's at with it. So if this is something that you definitely just want to play and try out to see if you like it, I definitely highly recommend it. I haven't played it yet, but I am excited to. It's one of the ones on my list to play. So
yeah, you really want to play this with the right people, though, because you don't want to play this with people that get super competitive with this and like have played this like thousands of times and like know like all the exact strategies, and then they get mad when you don't play exactly the same way that they do for your turns. Like they all want to play your turns for you. Yeah. So that's with any cooperative game. That's not the game's fault. That's just the player's fault.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like it depends on the people that you play it with, because you don't want to play it with somebody who's too into it and takes it too seriously. But at the same time, you don't want to play a cooperative game with someone who's like super like too laid back and just has no interest in being a part of it whatsoever. Yeah. Me personally, I don't think it's more so because competitive with me. I think it's more so just I get so ahead and I'm just like I get so into it that I wind up going like way ahead of people, and so I'm just like 5, 10 steps ahead, and they're still on this step. So
I mean, you have your own characters, so you could do what you want, but when you're starting making fun of other people for what they do, that's yeah.
yeah,
We've played cooperative games with people like that, and
it
never
wasn't fun.
again.
It wasn't fun.
Yeah, never again. But that's not a game problem. It's a people problem. So
Yeah.
you just have to be smart with the people that you play games with is all I can say. But
Yeah.
this is definitely a breeding ground for those type of people for sure.
Yeah.
So you just gotta. But that's my rant on this. It's still a fun game, and I know one of my other friends will have this on her list.
Probably.
Yeah. Well.
My number 47 is Onitama. It is it's a game, it's a strategy game, it's a strategical game.
Oh, sure,
and it's kind of like chess, but instead of there being multiple, there's like a sensei, and then there's the students, there's a master, and then there's the students. And you're basically going, there's two goals. You can either capture the master, or you can, that basically acts as the king, or you can conquer, I think it's the other person's temple.
Yeah, so that's where the temple is the starting space of your opponent's master or their king, as in like traditional. But it's a card game, so you'll have 5 cards,
and you get to choose, like, instead of like in chess where each piece has their own specific set of spaces that they can go, or ways they can move. Yep. The cards, there are cards, and so you get like a certain number of cards, and those cards have different those cards will give you your movement styles, and you can so you can choose between those 2 cards which way you want to move. The only thing is, when you make that move, you wind up giving that card to your opponent, so that opponent can make that move against you as well. Yep. So you got to be careful on which moves and which cards you give to your opponent, because it can either work in your favor or it can backfire against you. And also depends on your mindset and who you play with, because if you play with somebody who's more so competitive and gets frustrated easily with like certain games, that, like me, then you can then it can kind of ruin the game. Sure. So you got to just make sure, like, you're careful with who you play it with. But it's a pretty fun game, like, once you lose that kind of, like, competitive edge.
Yeah, it's a cool design where you, whatever movements you make, your opponents can use them against you. And it's also limiting in what you're allowed to move. So it's simple in that aspect. And it's also cool that before you make your move for that turn, you can also look at the card that you're gonna have next turn, so you can plan out 2 steps ahead. Yeah. But it's not like chess where you're planning like 5 steps ahead. For people that can't do that, it's great for that. But
it's a little bit more low pace and steady pace, and whereas chess is a little bit more complex. Yeah. And it's and if you're looking to kind of learn the concept of chess, then I definitely highly recommend this game.
I recommend this game instead of chess myself.
But it's super fun to play once you, like, I know when I first started playing it, I didn't like it because I'm one of those competitive people where I get frustrated sometimes. So, but I've worked on it, and so I'm not as bad as I was. So this game has actually moved up, because it used to be like way below 50. So,
so this game's grown on you. It's got a nice production quality. The cards are nice. The plastic pieces are nice. It has a nice rubber play mat, which you don't see very much in board games. They give you like the cardboard fold-up one. This is like a rolling, like
rubber one.
Rubber ones like you'll use for like Magic the Gathering or trading card games.
So it's a lot easier for like travel convenience. Yeah. And it's a 15-minute game, so it's not that long. It's a pretty short game, so you can play it just like it's another one of those games where you can like play it to kill time, or if you're on a road trip and you want to pull it out to play games with your friends, your family, you can. It's pretty cool. Yeah. But it's a 2-player game, so. Yeah.
This square size box bothers me though, because I can't fit it with those games there because of the size of it. Yeah. So it's like just small, like it's too big for a small box game, but it's
too small for a big box game.
Exactly.
It's like it's in its own little.
It's its own size box, which
Yeah.
is like another game you're probably gonna talk about later.
Yeah.
But that's new to your list this year.
Yeah. And this is one of the older ones that we've played. This game, it's one of the older ones that we've played. But like I said, I wasn't a fan of it before because I used to be like super extremely competitive. So, but I've worked on it. I've kind of died it down a little. So,
you kind of get the charm of the game now.
Yeah, I get the charm and the appeal of the game, and I focus more on just to play for fun instead of to win. And if I win, it's like a pleasant surprise.
All right. Well, my number 47 is also a new game. Like I got recently, it was recommended to me, and I tried it. You talked about a roll and write.
Yeah.
This is a flip and write and roll and write, and this is on tour. It's where you're in charge of your band's tour, like you're organizing their tour, and so there'll be cards and dice, and you'll have to roll the dice, and then everyone that's playing will have to, with the card that's showing the region that state or country is in, you will have to write one of those numbers, either the higher number or the lower number from the two dice, and you'll have to add that to the region of the show and city. And then you are building out your tour. You have to go from ascending to descending order without going back to the same city that you have already previously visited. And so it's really crunchy. You have to really plan it out. It's easy to learn, but very hard to master the game. So definitely anyone can play it, but not everyone can be good at it.
Yeah, it's a challenging game. I haven't played it yet. It sounds very challenging though, but at the same time, it sounds pretty fun. This is one of the newer games we got, so he's played it, but I haven't. But it sounds pretty interesting, so I'm kind of excited to play it. So
yeah, and it's 1 to 8. It says 8 because there's only 8 boards in the box.
Mm-hmm.
And 8 dry erase markers, but you can get the printout version online, and you can also play it virtually with as many people too. So if someone, they just need to be able to print out their own sheet of paper and a pen, and they can play it virtual, like on like video call, whatever they call those nowadays. I don't do that stuff, but you can.
Yeah.
So and it's a great one to do that with. So,
yeah.
And that is On Tour.
My 46th pick from my list is Codenames. I do like this game. The first game that I actually played was Codenames Duet, but this game is it's a bit similar. They're in the same, it's a different version of this game, but it's pretty similar. This one is more players. You can play it with more players, and you play in teams, so it's more of a teamwork effort than anything. And basically the teams, they're words, and the words act as kind of like you're a spy, and there are words that you have to pick, and the words kind of act as your contact. And so you have to choose the right words, because that are basically your contacts. And it's a bit of a word association type game. So you have to pick a word that would associate with one or more words on the board to play. And then you have to say a number to go with that word, because to let the other person who is guessing know this is how many words that you need to guess. So it's a bit tricky, and it really lets you see into the minds of your opponents. So if you don't know the people that you're playing with, it might be a little bit more difficult to play. But it's overall pretty fun. So
yeah, this one's more fun to play with people you don't know versus the other versions, which are you want to know them.
Like Codenames Duet, that's a game that you would want to play with somebody you know. Whereas this one, you're playing in teams, so it's more fun to play with people that you don't know, because then it's like, okay, hey, like this is pretty funny. Either way, for me, it's funny. So
this is the party version. This is the version that you'll bring to like work parties or house parties or holiday parties. It's like that, because you can technically play it with any number of people, but I like it at around 4 to 6 is probably the sweet spot for me, but you can play it with 20 people.
It all depends on how you feel and what the type of person you are. But for me, I feel like games like these with party games, I like playing with a lot of people, but I don't like to play with too many people when it comes to party games, because then it could just like ruin the game.
You have a much higher respect for party games than I do.
I do.
I'm not one of those people that has a ton of friends to play party games with. But you have a lot more friends than I do, so you play party games more than I do.
I do. Plus, I like hosting, which is weird because I'm not really a party person. But I do like hosting, so I like hosting little get-togethers and dinner parties. So I feel like this would be fun. I don't have this game, but I have played it. So
yeah, you do.
I have Codenames Duet.
You have the.
And I have
You have the Cards Against Humanity version.
Oh yeah,
you have the Dirty Words version.
Yeah, I played the Dirty Words version. I haven't played the base game.
You've played this one, but you own the Dirty Words. I don't see the charm in the Dirty Words. But yeah, if I'm gonna play a party game, it's probably gonna be this one. This is my favorite party game as well, so that's a great pick.
I have a lot more party games in my collection at home than he does. Because I like party games. So
what happens is I buy a party game, and I'll play it once or twice, and then I'll give it to her, and then she'll keep it in her collection and
play it several times.
Yeah, so I just kind of stopped buying party games altogether, though, just because they've lost the charm for me, because once you've played one, you've played most of them.
Yeah.
They're not much variability, and they don't have much to show for it.
Yeah, but me, I like playing party games no matter how many times I play them, I love them, so.
Yeah, but this is a good pick, though, and it doesn't come in these boxes originally.
This is,
custom Etsy box.
Yeah. It's so cute, but, it's a lot smaller than the box that it originally came in.
Like that big. So it's not a big box. It's just I like to have my stuff compact, just
for convenience, and
because if you're gonna keep 200 games in your collection, you wanna make sure that they don't take up your entire room.
Right. But it's a pretty fun game. So that's my 46th choice.
And that
choice.
The team version was not in your top 40 last time.
The duet version was, because I played the duet version first before I played the base game. But so the duet would probably be higher up in my list. So
we'll talk about that one later?
Yeah.
Okay. Spoilers. Yeah, so I definitely agree that the cooperative version is the better version, but I do enjoy both versions. Not so much pictures. Pictures makes it... There's a picture version where it's pictures instead of words.
I like the word version better.
The pictures, it's harder because it just leaves things open for more interpretation. Like they say, a picture says 1,000 words.
Yeah.
And so they could mean way too many things, and it's... Yeah.
When it only means one thing. So.
Yeah. Where some words will have, like... only 3 or 4 meanings.
Right. One would have like 5 or 6.
Yeah, and then pictures, which is just open to interpretation. There's different versions of pictures. Like there's the Harry Potter pictures, there's Marvel, there's the Simpsons, Disney version of Codenames.
Me being a Disney fan, I might get the Disney version of Codenames and play it.
It might have words on the back. I know there's pictures, but it might have words on the back. I know the Harry Potter has pictures on one side and words on the other side.
I might get the Disney version to play it because I love Disney.
Okay. So that is number 46?
Yep.
All right, number 46 for me went down quite a bit. It was my 24 last time, and that is a solo-only game, and that is Friday. I know we talked about this game on previous lists in the past. I like it as a solo game. It's really hard. I've never come close to beating it. So that's just up to you if you're up for the challenge or not. It's based on Robinson Crusoe, the books, and it's a deck building game where you start out with a not so good deck, and you're trying to complete different objectives. You're flipping over card, and that's how much strength you need to complete that particular objective. And then if you complete it, then you can get that objective into your deck to make your deck stronger. And then you have to go through the deck 3 times. Then after you go through the deck 3 times, or at least the objective deck 3 times, then you have to face the final bosses, which are different ships. But it's a hard game. I've never come close to beating it.
I've never played it, so I'm excited to play it though. I like a challenge, so I definitely will want to play it. So, and because he said it's a solo, I know before you were telling me it reminds you of kind of solitaire, or for people who are into solitaire.
Yeah, it's basically Robinson Crusoe except a smaller version.
Okay.
And I don't know if Robinson Crusoe is harder or not. I know Trevicek likes to make his games. I mean, because this is Freedom and Freeze. It's not a very attractive looking game. Because he has his own art style, Freedom and Freeze. But yeah, there's this bigger box version called Robinson Crusoe, which is Ignacy Trevicek.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where Trevicek, he'll actually, like he owns a company that makes the game.
Mm-hmm.
And then he'll teach people how to play, and he will take great joy in watching people lose the game.
Oh.
Like, he loves watching people lose at his games. Even solo.
Well, I mean, I guess it's I wouldn't say it's a pride thing, but I guess it just shows him, like, he's made a really good game that's not too easy to win. You don't want to make a game that's too easy.
Yeah.
Well, that was your 46th pick?
It was. New to my list.
Oh, yeah, because that was a newer game.
No, it's not new. Sorry. It was 24, so it's dropped quite a bit.
Okay. So. My 45th pick, which has opened.
He's to the top of the lid.
And fell.
Yeah, well, whatever. It's not a good game.
It is a good game.
Whatever. Tell them about it if you like it so much.
My 45th pick, which is a good game, is called Just One. It is a really fun game. It's a party game that you can play with up to 7 players.
You can play with more than that.
It says 3 to 7 players because
you just grab a pen and pad. It's fine. Don't worry about it. The more the merrier with this. It doesn't matter. It says 7 because they were too cheap to give you some more of those those plastic stand things and markers. What's so funny?
Like, they're just so cheap. They're too cheap to add more.
Whatever. It's a $20 to $25 game. They're not going to give you too much. They put those stupid dollar store markers in there. What? Tell them. What? Tell them about the game.
Just One is another word association game. So basically there's one person who is supposed to guess the word, and all of the other players, they know the word, and they're basically writing down they're writing down one word on the little stands to help the player guess what the word is. But the tricky part is you cannot have one word. 2 people cannot have the same word, because if that were to happen, like, say the word is chocolate and one person puts sweet and another person puts sweet, that word would automatically be taken out because we would not be able to use that word. That word would be excluded, and the player would not be able to guess the word based off of sweet because it was that 2 people had the same word. So it's a bit tricky in that sense, but other than that, it's pretty fun. It's a nice word association. It's not that long a game. It's probably like a 20-minute
It's
game.
as long as you want to make it.
Yeah. But and it's a good game for you to play with your family. You can play with families, or you can play at a party.
Yeah, there's no real end to the game, so it's kind of just
play until you
get bored of it.
Most likely.
Which is for me right away. No, I actually haven't played this yet.
I have.
But yeah.
I've played it with a couple of friends. It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. I enjoyed it and my friends enjoyed it.
I'm just glad they changed the name.
I forgot what the name was before.
We Are the Word.
It's like a mission.
You are the word. Yeah, you like those word games more than I do. I like games where they're less language dependent.
Yeah.
But you like those English language or games.
Yeah, I do.
Those.
I'm a nerd, so anything that has anything to do with
Alright,
words.
new to your list this year.
It is, and it's a game that I've had for a minute too.
Yeah.
So.
Just because pandemic stuff and not party games.
Yeah, so I haven't been able to play a lot of my party games.
Well, I never had that problem. I never had those friends to play with anyway, so that's why you have the party games and I don't.
I love party games.
Yeah, I like other word games better, but whatever.
But that was my 45.
Alright, my 45 is not a light party game. It is I mean, you could argue about the party part, but it is a big game that it's called Dead of Winter. You have a character in a post-apocalyptic war. I mean, in like a zombie apocalypse world, where you are working with all the other players to scavenge for food, get resources, protect the outpost from zombie apocalypse, from the zombies outside, and trying to survive the winter. But the catch is, each player has secret objective cards, and you don't know what each player's ulterior motive is. They could be trying to sabotage people, or they could be even trying to kill you, and you don't know that. No. So it's kind of like The Walking Dead, in the sense, and they do it really well, in the sense of where there's zombies that you have to survive, and you have to hold off the hordes and kill the hordes, and you have to scavenge for food, and food can be scarce, and you have to go to different areas like the school or like the store and try and get resources and barricade off your encampment. But you also have to figure out who you can trust and who you cannot trust. But yeah, it's a fun thing. You haven't played it yet.
No, I haven't, but I'm a huge Walking Dead fan, although I'm kind of upset with the show right now. I'm a huge Walking Dead fan, so I definitely am interested in playing.
I have not played it yet. I haven't played it this year, so that's why it dropped from 36 to 45. But it's still a really good game that has a lot of fun. It's one of those games that you either love this game or you hate this game. Because some people really hate the idea of semi-cooperative, where you're cooperating to an extent. A lot of people that are into like the heavier games think that this is a dumb concept of how you can like the hidden traitor idea of you don't know if you can trust someone or not.
So it's a hit or miss.
But I really enjoy this game. I think it's thematic and it's fun and it's got some really interesting ideas to it, and I enjoy it. It is Dead of Winter.
My 44th pick is a very, very cute game. So fun to play. Called Welcome To. It is a multiplayer, so you can play it with one person. You can play it solo, or you can play it with up to 100. I mean, you don't have to, but it's just you can play it with multiple people. And it's about 25 minutes, so it's a short game. But basically, it's you're basically building up your neighborhood, and there are different cards. It's a card flip game, so you get to and there's a pen and paper in there too, pen and pad too. So you basically you're choosing the number, and there's different numbers. There's like 3 decks, and you get to choose between out of those 3 decks which number and which property you want to build on. So it's like you can build a house with a pool. You can build a house with a picket fence. You could build a house close to a construction site or close to a park. And where you build that house and what you build that house with, that determines how many points you get. You can also, it's also, you have to do it in like ascending order. You cannot do it where, again, you can't place like 1, 2, 3, and then place a 5 and then go back and want to place a 4.
Next to
You
it,
can't do that. You gotta, it has to be in ascending order. Now you can put the 4 in another row, but you can't put it in the same row if you've already skipped that number. Which, I mean, it's a bit tricky and it definitely makes you think a little bit, but it's a pretty easy game to play.
Right.
And you can play it with your kids. It's a nice family game that you can play too. And I like to play it at parties. You can play it. I like the dry erase concept of it, but the dry erase boards are not sold with the game, so you would have to buy them separately, and they're a bit on the expensive side.
Yeah, the dry erase pack I got cost as much as the game did, and it had one of the markers was broken,
so we had to replace that.
Yeah, I emailed the company. They never replied. I know they got it. They just ignored my message.
Yeah, so I mean, if you don't mind, like, if you're not really interested in playing with the dry erase boards, then you can definitely just play with the pen and pad.
Yeah, it comes with a nice pad of sheets, 100 sheets in the box.
So you can play it so it stretches, depending on how much you play it. But it's a super fun game, and I like it, and it's really cute, so. And that is welcome to.
Any guess where it was on your list last time?
I feel like it was higher up. I feel like it went down.
You think you cooled on this game?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I cooled on it because I haven't played it as much.
Yeah.
But I know it was higher up on my list before.
Yeah, and it's higher up for me too. But I have it at 23 last time for you.
Oh, so it definitely went down.
It went down quite a bit.
40s, I still like this game very much. I still like this game very much. It's super fun, but I've just played a lot more newer games that we've gotten, so and those have been higher up on my list for me than that.
That was kind of when you first started getting into the flip and write genre and the roll and write genre. That was the game that you played. And
I think that was one of the first games. And you
started playing more of them and realizing that you like other ones better.
Yeah.
But it's still in your top 50, which is good.
Yeah. I feel like that one is one that will probably stay in my top 50. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Hey, that's your choice.
But that's my 44th pick.
44 was number 41 for me last time. It's one of the games you were begging me to buy for forever and a half years.
I love this game.
And we finally got it. A used copy that was pretty dinged up, but it was a good deal, and we finally played it, and
I love it.
Yeah. I don't know. It might be on your list later on.
Might be.
But I like it. 44 much. So it's takes place in New York in 1901, and you are building skyscrapers in downtown New York City, and you are building in like certain size buildings in certain city blocks, and you're scoring points accordingly. And it works well, and it plays really quickly. It's like, I think our game lasted like 30 to 45 minutes.
Yeah, so like it depends.
I guess the games that we've played.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the amount of players that you have and how you want to play it. But it's a pretty fun game. I enjoy it a lot. So
stay tuned to hear more about this game. I'll let you talk more about it later. I'm sure you'll.
I'll probably do a review on it, or we'll probably do a review.
Might be on your list.
Yeah, it might be.
Maybe.
Maybe, possibly.
That is my 44 New York 1901.
Okay, on to 43. My 43rd pick is Star Realms. It is a deck building game, and I want to show a little bit of the game.
Yeah, it doesn't come in this size box. It doesn't come in this crappy Yu-Gi-Oh box.
It comes in a smaller box, but
that's like half this size.
Yeah. It comes in a smaller box, but he sleeves his cards. He likes to sleeve his cards to protect them. So when you sleeve them, it kind of makes it harder to put them in the box. So he found a bigger box to put them in. But it's a pretty fun game, and it's a sci-fi game. So if you're into this sci-fi, if you're a sci-fi nerd like me and you're into that kind of thing, you can definitely play this game. And it's basically like your normal deck building game.
Yeah,
where you're building a super strong.
You're getting ships. You're getting ships, and you're using them to attack your opponent, and so you'll get currency, and then you'll use them to buy new ships, buy new bases, and each one will have abilities on it, and it will also have a power, and you have to you start at, I think, 50 life, and then you have to get your opponents to 0 life points. So
kind of like a war. And I think it's like a war in space, but
yeah, basically it's a 2-player, and then you can buy, like I did, a second pack.
Yeah.
And that can play with 3 or 4, and you can do teams or a free for all. It also has a really good app that's free to buy, which I've played a bunch, and so that's why it's cooled for me. And you've just now recently starting to appreciate.
Yeah, because when I first played this game, I didn't like it too much. I won't say I hated it, but I didn't like it too much. But the more I played it a couple times after, and I'm starting to appreciate it a little bit more. I like the sci-fi. I've always liked the science fiction aspect of it, so that's what kept me going back.
All right. And that is moving your list. It's
43.
43?
Yeah.
Number 43 for me was 38 last time, so holding consistent despite all the hate it gets from another person here. And that is King of Tokyo. It is a dice-chucking monster battle game where you are trying to take over Tokyo and trying to destroy all the other monsters and to become the most prestigious monster in Tokyo. So you can either win by having 20 points or by killing all the other monsters, which is the much more fun way to play the game.
It is.
And it's great for families. You can play it up to like 6 with the base game. And then you can get more monsters to play with more people. But you can also get you can also get lightning bolts, which is like currency, which gives you power-up bonuses, which can do some okay things. I don't usually go for them that much. I just like to try and attack the monsters.
He does.
Yeah.
When I've played it, it's not that I hate the game.
Okay.
It's just that I've played it a lot. And so
I played it a lot too.
It's just, I guess, for me, it's like one of those games where, because there's some of those games where it's like you've played it so much where it's just like, okay, yeah, there are more games that I like a little bit more than this one because I've played it so much. But it's a fun game. I do like this game. It is a fun game. It's just gone further down on the list for me.
I appreciate the fact that I can play this with anyone, regardless of age, gender. Because little kids can understand it. Older people can play it and enjoy it. I played it with older people that have not played games. So you can play it with people that are new to the hobby, and people that play a lot of games can still get a lot of enjoyment out of it.
It's a very good gateway game. So it's a very good game for people who have never really played board games or who don't really like board games, don't want to get into it. It's a pretty good gateway game because it's a pretty simple concept. It's pretty easy to learn, and the setup is pretty easy too. So you don't have to spend hours on end setting it up and then putting it away again. So it's pretty fun to play. It's pretty easy and simple. I think a really cool aspect that's pretty tricky is well, not really tricky, but if you're the monster in Tokyo, it's like you're the center of the spotlight. So the monster is the other
bag.
Yeah, so like you're in the spotlight. So it's easier for you to get attacked. You can get attacked more and it's easier. But because all the monsters can team up together to attack you and get rid of you. But at the same time you get more points if you attack other monsters. You get more points, and you can you can attack other monsters a little bit easier too. So 42. My 42 pick for this list is Love Letter. Love Letter is a card game, and basically you are writing letters to the princess, and trying to get your letter as close to the princess as possible, and you're basically just trying to win her favor. It's a 2-player game. You can play it with more than 2 people. But I've only really ever played it with like me and one other person. So, but you're basically trying to win the princess's favor and get her to talk about you
speak highly of you at breakfast
the
next morning. She's trying to brag about you to her family, basically, which is petty and dumb and. Yeah, it's not... I mean, you like this game more than I do.
I do. I really enjoy this game. It's a very fun game for me, even though it's probably moves lower. It's lower on my list than it was before.
It wasn't on your list, so it's actually gone up on your list.
Yeah, well, then.
Wait, this game wasn't even on your top 40 last time.
I know it was on the one that we did before that, and then it went down completely.
I don't think so.
And then it went down completely, because I know I did like this one like a lot. I think it's mostly because I've played more games that I've liked a little bit more than this game, but I do enjoy this game. It's really fun. I would play it with somebody, with a close friend or with a significant other, so I feel like it's a pretty fun game.
I would not play it too.
I
would play it 4 or more. You want more people for this game, because it's just stale when you're playing with 2 people. It's a good thing to break out if you have it's a good thing to stick in your pocket and play with your family of 4 at Denny's.
Whereas I think that it's a pretty good play at 2-player. It's pretty good play at 2-player. I enjoy it. I've only ever really played it with 2 people, and I still enjoy it very much. So it's pretty fun for me, and I think it's so cute. It comes in different packs. So it comes in this package, this cute little pouch, and then it also comes in a regular, cardboard card box. So this one is a bit more, I think, cuter. I think it's more aesthetically pleasing, and it's
just the bag, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's more aesthetically pleasing. It's very fun to play.
And it's got these little tokens instead of... You have the cubes.
Yeah, I have the cubes, whereas he has the cute little tokens that you can get. And those are like the upgraded upgrades to the game that you can get. That you buy, I think, separately.
No, it comes with the game.
It comes with the game?
Yeah, it comes with this drawstring.
Oh, so I guess...
I'm not gonna upgrade this game.
I guess it depends on which package you get.
Yeah. Because
if you get the cardboard box package, then you get the cubes. But if you get this package, it comes with the little tokens. But it's it's a cute game. I enjoy it. I like it. Whereas
I'd rather get the Batman version, but that one's like $75 because it's out of print.
Yeah.
For a used copy, they'll go for like $75, which is ridiculous. Yeah. So that is New Year List 42. My 42 was on the Shelf of Shameless we did a couple weeks ago, and I got the app for it because the app was on sale this week, and I played it a few times on the app against the AI, and that is Galaxy Trucker. It is a spaceship building game where there's a pile of face down ship parts, and everyone at the same time is grabbing their ship pieces and putting them on their ship one at a time until one person's done with it. Then it will start the timer for the other player. The time will start ticking for time the other players have to finish their ship. And then once that time is up, you race it through space and you encounter like abandoned outposts. You'll be attacked by space pirates. You flip over a deck of cards and you don't know what's gonna hit you.
So it's kind of like a surprise element of surprise kind of thing.
Yeah, and so you have to build your ship strong enough to fight off meteor showers, space pirates, whatever hits you in the face, basically, as you're driving through space, trying to deliver goods. So you're gonna pick up goods and you're gonna deliver them. But then it's really frustrating when you get your cargo. You find an abandoned outpost and you take cargo from it and you're trying to get back with it. And then a meteor or space pirates blow up that part of your ship where the cargo is on, and it just falls
into space. And
it's just gone forever.
It's just floating in space.
Yeah, so you have to watch. So you get to build your ship and then you watch it destroyed. Some people don't like watching the things that they built, work so hard to build, get destroyed?
It can be a little heartbreaking.
So
that looks fun though. It looks very fun. So I haven't played it yet, but it sounds very fun. So I know it's on my list of games to play before the year's up. So
sweet. And it's Vlada Cavado, which is the designer of another game that was on your list earlier.
Yeah.
Which is Codenames. So, and that is Galaxy Trucker.
Which I enjoy. I enjoy Codenames.
41.
My 41. Number 41 is Azul. It is a very fun abstract strategy game. It is it's very aesthetically pleasing. It's very cute. And it's pretty simple to learn. Pretty simple.
Yeah,
not really complex to learn.
Basically. Tell them, huh?
I am getting to that.
You are?
Yes, I am. Can
Okay.
you let me talk, please? It's very simple to learn, pretty easy to set up. Basically, you are placing your tiles and picking out where you're going to place your tiles, and you have several tiles within the center of the table, and then you pick out basically however many you're going to choose and place them where you're going to place them where you would like on your board. And once you do that at the end of the round, I think there's like several different rounds that you have.
You play until a row is filled up.
Yeah. So, yeah, you play, and basically you play until there are no more.
No, you play till a row fills up. The game.
Well, I know when we've played, we've filled up rows, but at the same time, we've played until there were no more tiles left.
You just have to reuse the tiles that were discarded in the box. Yeah.
I didn't know that we usually played until there were no more tiles.
No, we've always played until the rows were filled. I've just always been the one to fill up the row first.
Oh well. Well, there's that, and basically the one with the most points at the end wins.
Yeah.
So, and it's pretty cool. There's this little first player chip. There's this first player tile. And it's a win-lose with that, because if you have the first player tile, then basically how you get the first player tile is when you get when you first go to get your tiles within that little circle, you have to push the rest of those tiles in that circle. The tiles that you don't get, you have to push them into the middle of the rest of the tiles. And so if another opponent wants to grab a tile that is within that circle, they have to grab all of them, but then you also have to get that first player token. So when you get the first player token, you have to put that at the bottom of your board, and there's like a little space that lets you know, like, -1 point, or you can lose up to 3 points from having that board, from having that tile, because but wherever that tile is placed, that's where you lose. That's how many you lose. And so you lose points for having it, but you get an advantage because the next go round you get to go first. So you get your first pick of whatever's on the center of the board, center of the table. So it's a win-lose.
Yeah, it's fun at the end of the round where you take the tiles you want, and then you can force your opponents to take the tiles that they can't grab, and then they're forced to lose points for them.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's funny, but at the same time, it's like if you're super competitive, it can be frustrating and you get angry easily, but it's a pretty fun game. I did not like this game when I first played it. You can ask him. I did not like it. But
yep, she was a hater.
But I grew to like it, and it
yep.
grew on me the more I played it, and I lost my well, I'm not going to say I lost my competitive edge, but I kind of toned it down a little bit. Then I grew to appreciate the play of it and just the strategy of the game. Instead of just playing to win, I just play to have fun now.
What do you think of the little starburst pieces?
He calls them little starburst pieces because they're small and they look like starbursts, and they're square. They're small and they're square and they look like starbursts. So you can play this with kids, but I'd be careful on the age group that you play it with, because some of the kids can definitely mistake them for candy and they can try to eat them, and it's a choking hazard. So you can play it with kids, but be careful on the age range that you play it with.
And be careful, like adults, even with when you're if you choose to have a snack when you're playing this game.
Make sure it's not Starburst.
Make sure, even like if it's popcorn, you could still mistake for one of the pieces for a popcorn piece and eat that. That would not be as tasty.
Right. And you might hurt.
They're big enough where you could actually choke on them.
Yeah. Or you could hurt your teeth. If you could either hurt your teeth or
those things are going down whole. What are you talking about?
Well, there are some foods that you gotta chew before you swallow.
Whatever. Those things are going down whole.
So I'd be careful with
I don't know how that would decompose. You know?
I'd be careful. If this is a game that you want to play, I would not recommend having food around. But it's a pretty fun game to play once you get the hang of it.
All right. Yeah, that's definitely new to your list. I'm glad you finally came around to that game.
Because I did not like it before when I first started playing it.
So my 41 is our first 2021 game on our list. We actually did not buy as many 2021 games this year.
A lot of the games that we got were like games that were made previous years.
I got a lot of 2020 games this year.
Yeah.
Because I was still catching up on those, because 2020 was with the pandemic stuff. There was a lot of games that came out, but I just didn't buy them. Yeah. And this one is Cascadia. It's a Seattle-based game. It's the same company, Flat Out Games and AEG, that put out Calico, which we enjoy.
We do. It's so cute.
Yes. So this one is, instead of your quilt pieces, you're building out terrain. Instead of cats, you're placing different animals, and you are scoring points for the animals relative to where they are compared to other animals. Like some goals will want you to have all your animals in a row together. Some of them will want them to surround another animal. And then you score points for how big your forest area is, your largest lake area, and so on. And it's got this nice Cascade Mountains theme from the Pacific Northwest, where we are.
I think it's really cute. I asked him to get this game because I'm really interested in playing it. So eventually I will. This is one of the games that I want to play, and there's probably a list that we're going to let out the games that we want to play before the year is up. But it's definitely a game that I intend on playing before the year is up, because I'm trying to get to at least 100 games before the end of 2021. So
got some work to do.
I'm almost there, though. I'm very close. I think I've played almost like 80.
Yeah.
80, maybe slightly
so
over
only
that.
A month left, yeah. 20 games. Yeah, you got to start playing.
So I have like less than 20. I know I have less than 20 games to play.
So that means you have to play 20 new games on top of all the other.
Less than 20 games to play, because I've played like a little over 80.
That's on top of all the other regular games that we play.
Yeah, I've played a little over 80 with the games that, not including like if you do like games that I've played versus the games that I haven't played. If you don't include all the games because if you include all the games that we haven't played, that's a lot more than 20.
I've played a lot more than you have, though, yeah.
But if we play, like, basically getting to, like, the top 100, I don't have a whole lot to go. Probably, like, less than 20 to go before the year's up. So that I think we could do it. Got a month left.
All right, I'll hold you to that. So that is 41. Beth Sobel art, just like Calico. Check it out.
Yeah, how long is it? It's another short game.
So it's the same length as Calico.
Yeah, it's a short game, so it's like 30, 45-minute game, so it's like a time killer. But it's pretty fun. Sweet. It sounds pretty fun, so. And, you can play it solo.
Yep, I did that.
So.
All right, and that is my 41 Cascadia, new to the list this year.
Yeah, and hopefully it will be on my list next year.
Well, that is our 50 to 41. Thank you for watching.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Down below in the comments, let us know if any of these games would you like and that you'd be interested in buying, or if you think that some of these games would be higher up in your list or lower and not even on your list. So let us know in the comments down below. Let us know what you think.
Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for the next segment of our top 50. Have a great day.